Our Uwrap rib stitch is achieved by alternating knit stitches with purl stitches. In this hat we're going to be using a knit one, purl one, knit one, purl one, and repeat that all the way around pattern. So for our Uwrap knit, we're going to wrap the peg in what looks like a U. Then we're going to take our bottom loop and knit off. For our next peg, we're going to purl. Our purl stitch, we're going to take our hook, bring it underneath the yarn that is on the peg. We're going to scoop up our working yarn. We're going to take the old loop, the whole thing, off the peg and put the new loop on and gently pull. So we're just going to repeat that all the way around. Uwrap knit, purl. Continue on around until you get the desired length of your hat, the brim of the hat, and then meet me back here. When you get around about your second round, you can go ahead and take this off the anchor peg and leave that to the back, and we'll deal with that when we finish our hat. So finish off your brim and meet me back here. So I just finished 6 rows for my Uwrap brim. You can have more or less depending on what you like, but I did 6. So to start our hat is going to be an 8-row repeat. So I'll show you the 8 rows and then you'll just repeat that till you get the length of the hat that you want. The first 2 rows of our 8-row repeat are going to be the same. They're going to be 2 knit and 2 purl. For the rest of the hat, for our knit stitch, we are going to be using the Ewrap knit stitch. So for our brim, we use the Uwrap knit stitch, but for the hat, we're going to be using the Ewrap knit stitch. So for our Ewrap, we're going to take our working yarn and come behind the peg and wrap it and knit off, but we have 2 in a row, 2 knits, so I'm going to go ahead and Ewrap 2. I'm going to leave these on because I prefer to go back after I finish the row and knit these off. That way I can just see where I'm going if I leave my project and come back to it. So 2 knit and then 2 purl, and we're going to complete that around for 2 rows. So go ahead and finish that around for your 2 rows and then meet me back here and we'll continue on from there. I just finished up row 2. Now we're going to start rows 3 and 4, which are going to be the same as each other. For rows 3 and 4, we are going to purl the first peg, then we are going to knit 2, purl 2, exactly like we did on the first row. So what this is going to do is it's going to shift our pattern over by 1 peg. So for rows 3 and 4, purl 1, then knit 2, purl 2, complete that all the way around, and when you get to the last peg, you'll only have 1 purl. So purl 1, knit 2, purl 2, knit 2, purl 2, knit 2, purl 2, to the last peg where you'll just purl 1. So finish off your rows 3 and 4 and then meet me back here. I'm coming to the end of row 4 and I'm going to end that in 2 knit and 1 purl. And I go back and knit off all my knit stitches from row 4. Now we're ready to move on to rows 5 and row 6. For rows 5 and 6, we're going to purl 2, knit 2 all the way around for rows 5 and 6. Purl 2, knit 2 all the way around. Finish off rows 5 and 6 and meet me back here. I just completed rows 5 and 6 and now I'm ready to start rows 7 and 8. Rows 7 and 8 will be the same as each other. I'm going to do this row. I'm going to start off with 1 knit. Then I'm going to do my purl 2, knit 2, purl 2 all the way around, ending in 1 knit stitch. So I started with 1 knit stitch, purl 2, knit 2, and repeat that all the way around. Purl 2, knit 2, purl 2, knit 2, and end in 1 knit stitch. Do that for rows 7 and 8 and meet me back here. I just finished my 7th and 8th row. Now you want to repeat rows 1 through 8 until you get your desired length. Remember, when you measure on your loom, it's going to be different than when it comes off the loom. It usually measures a little bit shorter on the loom since it's under tension, and it usually is a little bit longer when it comes off. But as far as measuring, will just take practice when you're loom knitting. When you get to your desired length, or about 1/4 of an inch before you get to your desired length, you'll want to do 1 row of just Ewrap knit stitch. The reason we do that is because we're going to do the drawstring bind off, and the drawstring bind off is going to look better and work easier if you do 1 complete row of Ewrap knit stitch before we do our drawstring bind off. So finish the rest of your hat, and when you're ready, meet me back here for your drawstring bind off. I finished my hat, and now I'm going to do the drawstring bind off. Once we finish our drawstring bind off, we want to go ahead and weave in any loose ends. Since the beginning one didn't have a knot, I like to make a knot. So I go in just a little ways away from the brim, and then I like to make a knot to make sure it's nice and secure, and then I'll weave my tail in. Now we're going to turn our hat inside out. Well, right side. It was inside out. So you can see this beautiful pattern that it makes. Thank you guys for watching.